Contractors Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by ContractorsSecretWeapon.com. Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractors Secret Weapon. Today, I just want to thank everyone for being here, and especially our guest, Todd Tresidder. And he is known as the financial mentor. He is an expert in small investment strategy, wealth building, advanced retirement planning, and entrepreneurism, all with a distinctly human twist. He teaches how to have more clients than you can handle in your service business, which we're going to talk about today, 7 steps to 7 figures, and how to catch up on retirement savings when you're behind. He has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Investors Business Daily, Forbes, NPR, Market Watch. His bio is pretty cool, and I'll go over that real quick. A BA in economics from the University of California at Davis, member of the Economics Honor Society, and Dean's List, serial entrepreneur since early childhood, building many businesses, retiring at 35 from his position as a hedge fund investment manager responsible for a $20+ million portfolio. And this is the thing I like best about his whole bio. He was financially independent from 35 through investing and not marketing, like a lot of other guys, financial gurus are, and made their money through marketing courses and books. He's done the real deal, and he's still an active investor. His call to action is invest smart, build wealth, retire early, and the best part of it all, live free. Before we get into the conversation with you, I just want to do a shout out to our sponsors who help promote Contractor Secret Weapon and just some of the things that they have in store for you, our listeners. Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to ContractorSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to ContractorSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Todd, it's really great having you with us today, and I'm excited that we can talk about how to have more clients than you can handle in your service business.
All right. Thanks for having me on the show, Dave.
Sure. So everyone that I know of always wants more clients. They want more business, and I know that's what they say they want, so let's give them what they want. How do we do that?
Well, most of the marketing that's taught is what we'll call traditional marketing, right? It's usually interruption marketing of some form, or they teach you how to do push marketing, where you do paid advertising or networking at events or, smile and dial or any number of different ways in which you're supposed to market your business. And I looked at that and I said, if that's how I have to build my business, I would just soon pack it up and be done. I was never really attracted to that at all. And so what I wanted to do was attraction marketing. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot more fun. And so by giving value, you attract your target client because they're searching for information on the exact thing you're giving value on. So in the contractor business, you might teach people exactly how to do what you do. Probably YouTube's a great thing for contractor marketing, I would think, because you can demonstrate the various things. And then as people search for that education, they'll see that you're an expert at this and they'll hire you to do it. And that's it's a fear that a lot of people have that oh, but I'm going to give it all away. I'm going to show them all my secrets. I'm going to show them how to do it. Don't worry about it. Everybody has that fear, and it doesn't come true. I'm a great example, right? I try to find experts to do work for me because I'm busy with my own business.
Sure.
I've got a full life. And if I can find a guy I really believe knows how to do it and will do it right, I'll just pay him to do it. I don't care if he'll show me how to do it or not. I just need to know that he knows he's the expert. He can do it for me, and I'll pay him to do it.
Yeah, and I think when as contractors, when you come into clients that are financially affluent, they think more on those levels. It's not really necessarily about price. Yes, price makes a difference to some degree, but it's more about value. And can you do what you say you're going to do in the time that you say you're going to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to emphasize what you just said because you're dead on. It's about value. So don't price yourself as the cheapest solution if you're working with the higher end clientele. You really don't want the clients that pick the cheapest contractor. You want the clients that pick the best value. And when you position your service, you want to position it based on value, not based on price. As long as you're basing your service on price, you will always compete yourself to the bottom with low margins. What you want to do is you want to position yourself as value. And one of the huge values in contracting, which you just laid out, Dave, is on time and on budget. And that you'll return calls and you won't dick me around.
All right.
It's just basic human stuff. And yet amazing how many contractors don't deliver on that. I just finished a house remodel and it was way more than we thought. It's not the contractor's fault. As soon as we tore into the walls, it was all kinds of problems that weren't anticipated.
Right.
Costs went up, but he was great. The way he managed it was he always communicated. He got back to us within an hour or two anytime we called him. He was an open book on costs. There was nothing underhanded in any way, and he was always great service. And so even though we went over budget and over time, the relationship's great, and I refer new clients to him. And it's because of the way he managed the service. So, and that referral business is obviously hugely valuable in the contractor business because everybody wants a contractor that somebody else has had a great experience with. But that's not what that's not the key thing I'm trying to teach you. What I'm trying to teach is I'm trying to teach you how to build a platform that draws in new clients, because referral business, everybody listening here already knows that game.
Right.
Is that a safe bet, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, they already know that game and they already know how to work that. I'm sure you've had other guests talk about that. What I'm going to talk about is how you bring in cold business through content marketing.
Cool. That's my cup of tea. Because I would rather be in, I always said, it's kind of funny, I always put it this way, I would rather be an invited guest than a pest.
Yeah. And so here's the question I asked myself. So I'm in the financial education business. Right. And so I had hung my hat out as a financial coach, which is a service business. And it's not like it was crickets, but it's not like the phone was ringing off the hook either when I first started in the business. And I asked myself an interesting question, which was, at least it was interesting to me, right? Which was, if Robert Kiyosaki or Dave Ramsey, these are both New York Times bestselling authors in case people aren't familiar with the space I'm in. If Robert Kiyosaki or David Ramsey hung out their hat as a financial coach, they would have people lined up around the block willing to pay multiple times what I was charging for the service. Now, what's the difference here? Is Robert Kiyosaki or Dave Ramsey a better coach than me? No, I don't think so. And that's not just my ego talking. I was really good at what I do.
Right.
And so are they necessarily better? No, they're not. What the difference was is they had a huge marketing platform and I did not. And that was the difference, both in pricing and in terms of demand, was the marketing platform. And so that's what started me down this path in building a marketing platform. Now, there's a lot of things that are well known about how you do this, right? And these are kind of like old buzzsaws, but there's these things that everybody knows about, and they work, but they're kind of half truths. And so the first one is that your client will buy from you when they know, like, and trust you, right?
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, that's.
Well, go ahead. You have hesitation.
Well, no, I just like today. I bought from someone because did I know them? I'd met them once before. Did I like them? Yes. that I had no idea, but I liked them and I knew them, and I knew that the person that helped me get in touch with them again, was sort of a referral, but it wasn't.
Right, but that referral is what brings in the trust, right? But there's
Yes.
other ways to develop trust. So,
Yes.
for example, in my business doesn't lend itself to referral. Okay, my business comes almost all from cold market.
Wow.
So that's where I developed this. Because, financial coaching is what would be known as a long tail business,
Yes.
right? Contractors are going to be what's known as a local service business.
Sure.
And so the way you're going to, and I'll go into that when I go into keywords that you want to dominate. Okay.
Sure.
So remind me to come back to that in a second. But let's go back with some of these old marketing saws that everybody knows, and they're kind of true, but not really, which is why you had the hesitation on the first one. So the first one was people who buy from other people they know, like, and trust. Okay. And so your objective is to build likability and trust through your content marketing.
Yes.
The other one is traffic times conversion equals profit. Okay. Which is just a math truth, right? A certain amount of traffic comes to your website, a certain amount will convert into business, and that conversion factor times the traffic determines your profit level. Fair enough?
Right.
Okay. So what's the third one that's missing? I said that there was 3 key ones, and there was a third one that's missing that broke my business wide open. And that was a website or a marketing platform that was customer based. If you look at almost all the marketing information out there, it's always you based. It's always about what you should do. You should go network. You should develop referrals. You should build your marketing platform. You should write these articles and build these YouTube videos that educate people. You should do this. You should do that, right? It's always you based.
Right. Okay.
Nobody cares about you.
You're right, and I never thought about it from that standpoint.
Yeah. Nobody cares about you. All they care about is their problem and how they're going to solve it. And that's the piece that almost everybody misses when they build out their marketing platform, and it's key. You've got to develop a customer-centric viewpoint in everything you create. You've got to understand what is the big problem you solve for the customer and what are the small problems you solve. We hit on a couple earlier in the interview. You've got to get really clear on that. And then one more thing you have to get clear on, which is the customer buying process, right? That's why so many contractors build their business around referral business, because the customer buying process is often asking friends for referrals to contractors they've been happy with, right?
Right.
But what is another way in which people buy contractor work?
They go to Google. They'll look at direct mail that comes in.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
But Google search, I think, is the up and coming one. Wouldn't that be fair? That people go in and they'll search for, what city are you in, Dave?
I'm in Oldsmar, Florida.
Okay, so they'll search, is it Osmark you said?
Oldsmar. They'll search probably Clearwater, Florida, let's say.
Okay, so they'll search building contractor, Clearwater, Florida. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Or they'll search plumbing contractor, Clearwater, Florida.
Sure.
Whatever your contracting specialty is, they'll search some words and then associated with the locale. And so a key strategy for a contractor is to rank highly. You don't have to be number one, but you do want to be on that first page of results for relevant keywords that people will search for to find your business. And then when they find it, you have to have a site that talks to the prospect. It has to show them that you're the guy that's likable and trustworthy.
Okay. 'Cause I noticed on your site, because I went to your site earlier, you have a tremendous amount of information for the customer.
Yeah. And what broke my coaching business wide open to where I had people backlogged at $600 an hour. I couldn't accept more clients. I could probably fill 10 practices at that rate. And what broke it wide open was my podcast. And that is unique to my business. Okay. So what happened, Dave, for my business is going to be unique for a contractor business as well. You have to figure out the combination that will deliver on this promise that you're making, right? But for me, what it was I had extremely scholarly writing, very technical, high-level financial writing. And so people read me and they followed me, but I didn't have the likability factor. And then once I did the podcast, then people were like, oh, wow, this guy's a normal guy. I can relate to him. I want to work with him.
Okay.
And so they got trust through my writing, and the podcast made me personal. The podcast made me real, and that's when people really wanted to work with me.
And it sort of made you a celebrity too.
Yeah. So that's what we call in this business, right? The business you and I are in, it's establishing micro celebrity status. It's not like we're celebrity in the classic sense of the word, but within my niche, I'd be what's deemed a micro celebrity.
Sure.
Right. And so that's kind of what you're building there. But it's a lot easier as a contractor because you only have to establish yourself at the local level. Way easier, way less competition.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so it's not hard to do. What we're talking about can be immensely profitable, and it's not hard to do at all.
I agree. And I know, and I have done a lot of that, on my contracting website, and even with my proposals and stuff like that. Like I have an audio business card that I give them and stuff like that. So, and I know, and like you have all this content and material that a lot of people aren't going to go through everything, but each piece of the package, I call it a shock and awe package in a sense, is that no one else is going to do that same thing. So that builds you as a professional in your area. So for a local guy, that's just off the wall.
Yeah, if you search for terms like financial coach, money coach, financial coaching, money coaching, I'm somewhere near the upper half of page 1. It varies. Sometimes I'm number 1, sometimes I'm number 3, sometimes I'm number 5. It varies. But those, let me actually, before I explain all that, let me drop into, there's really 2 approaches. There's the direct approach and the indirect approach, okay? And so we were kind of touching on the direct approach and how you do this marketing presence online that will convert customers for your business, your local contracting business. And so the direct approach is, I already talked about it kind of elusively, was keyword. You have to understand what are the money keywords that people are using when they're looking for your exact solution. Okay, so the first step in that is you have to know what solution you provide. What is the problem you solve for people? Okay, once you're clear on that, then you can market to it. The second piece is you have to know how people search for you. And so that comes from keyword research on the internet, where you look and find out what keywords people are using that are relevant to the solution you provide. Then you have to rank for those keywords, and you have to look and see if there's enough traffic for those keywords to build a sufficient business for yourself. So using myself as an example, the money keywords for me were money coach, money coaching, financial coach, financial coaching. Now, there's a lot of other ones like retirement coaching, investment coaching, others. I rank for them, but they're much lower traffic. For some reason, when people are looking for the services I provide, those are the 4 primary keywords. So then what I did was I went through and I looked at the amount of traffic on it. And if you took those 4 keywords and summed them up back when I did this, which was many years ago, the traffic's higher now, it was about 25,000 monthly searches for those keywords. And so if you use the 1% rule, you can kind of back into what kind of business you can expect. So if you rank somewhere on page 1, particularly the upper half, let's assume that roughly 1% of those people will click through to your website that search for the term. Okay. So from 25,000, you drop down to about 250 clicks. Okay. And then from there, then you use 1% and you say 1% will actually buy your services. And these are very realistic numbers. They panned out across many web-based businesses, many different businesses across many different platforms. 1% rule is kind of a good benchmark. Some people come in 0.5%. If you're really good, you might get 2%, but it's somewhere in that range. So it's good to just start with that number just to test the idea. Okay. So then 1% of 250 clicks is 2.5 clients per month. So then that works out to 30 clients per year. If I can accept maybe 15 of them total and my average client retention is multiple years, you can see how easily this thing rolls out and fills out a business. And in fact, that's exactly the way it worked in practice. So what I did was I built, if you go on my website now, which is financialmentor.com, and you look in the main menu, you'll see the silo of content I built around financial coaching. It's in a tab in the top menu, and I have all kinds of educational articles, everything about financial coaching. And it's all written from the client perspective. It's not written from a financial coach's perspective. It answers their frequently asked questions. It goes through how they work with me. It goes through what they can expect from the financial coaching process. It explains how financial coaching works, what it does do, what it doesn't do. Very detailed stuff. It's the most detailed website about financial coaching on the internet still to this day. And I wrote this a long, long, long time ago. And so that's why it ranks so well. It's a silo of content that's all interlinked to create great value. So Google recognizes me as an authority on the subject. And so they rank me well. Since I show up near the top, I understand the buying process. Remember I explained you have to know the buying process of your client. And so what happens is the clients then decide if they want to trust me. As long as I'm somewhere near the top of page one, because buying financial coaching is a trust process, just like a contractor. You don't go just to the first choice, right? You've got to trust the person. So you'll look for a handful to 10 choices. You'll glance at their websites. You'll see what websites talk to you. That's why it's got to be client-focused. Client-focused will talk to you, not you-focused. It's not all about you and how great you are, right? About how brilliant you are. It's about how you solve the client's problem. That's what they have in mind. That's all they care about is what's in it for them. And so they go to your website. If it's client-focused, it talks to them, then you become a top contender. And then you just have to have a conversion process, how you take them from an interested party into a paying client.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That's really awesome because I never really thought about that part of the into the website as far as that. I mean, when we always talk about marketing and talk to other guys that, it's not about you. Nobody cares about you in a nice way. But it's all the customer, potential customer only cares about what are you going to do for them. But you're extending it to the website, which is really awesome because that's really your marketing piece in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. And so one of the ways in which you build the content to build your authorities, you can go for the indirect approach. So I talked about the direct approach, which is dominating keywords, what we call money keywords, where people searching for your exact service, your exact solution that you provide, they're searching those keywords. You have to pop up somewhere near the top. And if you have that and a good conversion process, like people can look at my conversion process for coaching on the coaching section of my website. What it does is it funnels people through every article towards the strategy session page. I give away a free strategy session back when I was accepting new clients. And then I had a pre-qualification letter that they had to read before requesting a strategy session. And that pre-qualification letter actually explained who coaching puts more money in their pocket than it costs. In other words, I explained that the right client for coaching is a self-selection process. It's not me selling them. It's them recognizing whether or not they fit the profile of somebody that's going to benefit. And so they'd have to pre-qualify themselves before even asking for a strategy session. So that way, by the time I got to strategy sessions, I would say I was closing 70 to 80% of them.
Absolutely.
Without even trying to close. Because even then on the strategy session, we're walking the talk. Because all we do in the strategy session is we give. I help the client. I give great value. I try to give them usable action steps. And I paint a picture of exactly what we would do going forward if we decided to work together. So they have a clear decision in mind. It's no longer this strange thing of like, what's coaching? Who's Todd? What would happen if I worked with him? You get rid of all the questions. You paint a clear picture so they have a clear decision that they can make.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my conversion process. It's going to be different for a contractor, right? You're going to have to meet, because it's a local decision, you're going to have to drive out and meet with them. You're going to have to go through and do the same thing I do in a strategy session. Basically, you do a strategy session for that client. And you probably have some prequals depending on what you do, right?
Yeah.
So depending on your specialty, there might be some ways in which you pre-qualify somebody before you give them a quote-unquote strategy session or bid.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So then now let's go to the indirect approach, because the indirect approach will paint the picture of how you build out your content marketing so it's fun. You could, like we talked about earlier, you could do YouTube videos. The idea is you give them the picks and shovels. Okay? Of how you would actually do all this stuff. You show how you do it. You show the end results of what you've created and the before and after pictures of your work. Things like that. And give of your skill and show your expertise in your content. And then what people do is they'll buy your service if you give them the picks and shovels.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking about that, when you like everyone that does YouTube videos on how to do it, ultimately the customer's looking at it for two reasons: how to do it possibly themselves, maybe, and they'll go, I ain't no way I'm going to do that. But and that's a great way to get a customer too. But then they're looking at it from the expertise level. This guy really knows what he's talking about. I'm going to give him a call.
And they trust you because they know from the video that you know what you're doing.
Right.
You know, you can show all the little gotchas in the video. Like, for instance, if I was doing contractor-based videos, I'd show like, and notice how I layer the insulation here. You have to be very careful if you're hiring someone because, you know, guys will try to cut corners on this step, or they won't layer it right and it won't seal the attic, and, you know, whatever it is, I'm making it up, right? You know, or let's say you're a plumber and you could point out like the correct way to get the pipes together is this, and be really careful if people try to do this to you. This is a low grade quality product, and, you know, don't let them install this, and like give them all the ins and outs, like all the dirt inside your business. Show them all the dirty little secrets. Show them all the tips and tricks, everything. Because what that does is that totally establishes your expertise. And it builds trust because you've shown them what to watch out for and how people rip you off.
Yeah, that's just crazy, isn't it? And that's the neat thing too. So you're building your customer-based platform so that you're actually informing them.
Yeah.
And the nice part about it too is, in reality, if you are, you know, like yourself, you know, are really professional in what you do, you're giving your potential client the information that, hey, this is what you should look for, and so it's your help in establishing the industry to make it a little better itself, even if they don't take you. They know what to look for.
Yeah, and don't worry about making it super slick or anything like that. It's all in the information. And actually, as a local contractor, it's going to be so much more believable if it's just your son or daughter holding the iPhone while you do the work and you're talking to the camera and you do just a couple rough edits to get out the real blahs. And, you know, just don't worry about making it super polished because nobody's expecting it to be super polished. You're a contractor. You're not a video producer. Right. If you make it too polished, they're going to think you're a slick marketer.
Yeah. So you just want to be real about the whole thing. This has really been awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And so a couple key points on here is in your indirect approach where you're giving away the picks and shovels, never do a direct call to action. Okay? You could leave your phone number at the end, your email address. You could do some things that are kind of obvious what it is. If somebody wants to read out to you, you know, you can leave the trail, but don't sit there and say something like at the end of the video, like, hey, I'm going to show you how to do this, but guess what? It's really complicated. I know you're not going to want to do it, so you're going to want to give me a call. This is how you call my business so I can make money off you. Like, right? You don't want to be overt that way at all. Truly give.
Yeah.
Like, give the stuff away and just say, you know, this is, you know, my business is Bill's Contracting, and this is the phone number and the email address. Thank you very much. Bye. Like, in that way, that's the call to action if somebody wants to do it. If not, nobody felt pitched.
Right. Yeah. No, that's really cool. I that's kind of funny because I'm sure somebody has done that.
Yeah. Because what happens, you got to think from always think from the customer's mind. Okay. They're not looking to spend money. They're not looking to hire you. They're looking at your information to figure out how to do the solution you provide. Right. And so they're just trying to get free information on the internet, and they don't want to be pitched. And if you pitch them, then their guard goes up. Whereas if you give, and you do really great information that's super helpful, they either want to hire somebody or they don't, and your pitch isn't going to change it, right?
Right.
But if they want to hire someone, they're going to go, wow, that was great, man. That dude really spilled the beans, and I totally get he knows his stuff. I'm going to call him, right? Because I don't want to do this stuff myself. Or they're going to be like, great, now I know how to do this stuff. Great. So you just help somebody. Right. Either way, you win.
Either way.
But if you put a pitch in there and you're overt about it, then what happens is, like think of it from the client's perspective and be like, oh, yeah, okay, this was pretty good, but clearly he's like just trying to market services. It just puts the prospect's guard up.
This has really been awesome. I'm stirring because it's really great. I took so many notes on all this stuff, and I love the market. It just brought it down to especially your website. bring your website up to where it needs to be, and how to get clients, because it's a flyer. Most people put out flyers. Well, actually, there's a term for it. It's a classic mistake in internet marketing. It's called brochureware. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, brochureware. Yeah.
Everybody builds a site called brochureware where it tells you all about how great they are, and all this stuff that no client really cares about. And that's not how you bring in cold business. That's fine. That site will be medium useful, but not nearly as good as what I just shared here.
Absolutely.
If you get referral business and they go look you up on the net, right? Because at least now you have a strong internet presence. You have an available internet presence. If you build out what I'm talking about here, nobody will touch you because nobody else has done it that you're competing with.
No, I know. Yeah. It is exciting. It just gave me some thoughts to go after on some stuff I'm doing, which is great. That's neat because I get to pick everybody's mind that comes on the show.
There you go.
So how can our listeners get in touch with you so that they can learn more? What's your website?
Yeah, so my website is financialmentor.com. So it's two words mashed into one, financialmentor.com. And it's the hub of everything I do. So that's the one place to find me. I have social media outlets, but everything's centered around the website. And I give away all kinds of free stuff because, again, I'm walking the talk, right? I'm telling you, have a giveaway, have things that you can give to start building the relationship. So the way I do it with my people, I teach people how to become financially independent and build wealth and retire early. And so the way I do it for my people is when they subscribe, I give away a free ebook called 18 Essential Lessons of a Self-Made Millionaire. And it talks about all kinds of stuff we never touched here, but is relevant to contractors. And then also I give away a free e-course. It's called 52 Weeks to Financial Freedom. And no, you won't get rich in 52 weeks. We're not about get rich quick. But what it does do is it gives you the overview of the courses that I sell by giving you value, the very thing I talked about here. It shows the framework, but because these courses are in depth, there's no way I can give away everything, right?
Right.
So I just give away great value. I show people what's in there. I show them the framework of how the 7 steps to 7 figures fits together, and then they can make a choice, right? As long as I'm giving value, it's building the relationship, they can make a choice, and I give all that for free to new subscribers.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractors Secret Weapon podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorssecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you were listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractors Secret Weapon podcast.